So on today's episode, we want to go over kind of who we are, what we're about, and what we do things. This is a new recording style for our channel, and we're just going to test it out and see how it goes. It's not very often we both fit into the same screen. Being two bigger guys, it makes it a little bit harder sometimes. But it's one of those things to where we started Simply Be Found to be able to help small business owners. We started to be with the goal to be able to not only achieve it for our existing customer or our existing businesses, along with my existing clients when we first started, when I just had the agency. And it kind of evolved over the years. Dean, you started as a client of mine at the very beginning.
Yes, I did. I was with a website agency and marketing company, and I found you, and you did some great things for me. And voice search was just starting to come out at the time, and you said, "How are you ranking with your business?" I said, "Oh, like any business owner, we're always doing great until you never tell anybody you're not doing well." And I did that voice search, and I went find my business, and I was standing in my lobby of my company, and I didn't even rank. I didn't even show up on voice search, which was a huge. It really bothered me as a business owner because I thought we were doing all the right things. I've been in business for over 30 years with my other business. And we've done all the things for, back in the day, yellow pages and everything like that, and direct marketing and mailings, and those are all current things that were done. They're not. I'm not saying they're bad. People don't use the yellow book anymore, yellow pages, but some of the mailing things still are valuable things. But the part of it that people don't understand is it costs money to do those, and the voice search and local SEO is really important. For a small business owner, that's really you need to be cash aware of what your business, how you're spending your advertising money. So that's how our journey got started, because even though I had a Google business profile for my business, it's more than just Google business. And I didn't understand that whole concept. It's Bing, it's your Apple Maps, it's all the other networks that are really important for you. So that's why we really got into this, is to make the small business owner, because we're so busy doing things for the day-to-day activities that we don't pay attention to all the things we need. And you can kind of see behind me, some of the networks that we go to. So, Rob, do you have anything you want to, contribute? You were there on the other side and saw my reaction.
I saw the reaction with you. I mean, I think it was a big reaction. It really bothered you. And you knew I had done other platforms in the marketing world. And when I mentioned this is what I was kind of dabbling in, and I don't want anybody to think we just do voice, because we don't do just voice. We do all of your local SEO. So it's one of those things to where when that happened, I was kind of already on the fence of starting the platform. You were like, "Hey, well, how do I join?" We then started. It was right during when COVID hit, and we were in development during that period. We tried to use a lot of different pieces of software to be able to make this work. We know our competition well, because we tried using a lot of our competition to solve this problem and see if we could make it simpler for somebody to do. We spent a shit ton of money to be able to just go through and figure that out. And to find out that there really wasn't anybody for the small business that could make it as simple as what we saw and what we envisioned it being. So what does local SEO mean for your business, and why is it so important? Local SEO is anytime anybody does any kind of local search. It doesn't matter if you do voice search. It doesn't matter if you're searching the web from a computer, a tablet, that smart fridge you have. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're looking for a local business or a product and service, you're wanting to be able to get those local results. Now, the big thing you hear me say, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, is the fact that it matters based on how much search volume is happening for your industry, based on how many results you're going to get. And it's about making sure that you are doing the right things to make sure you're going to rank. What Simply Be Found is going to do is it's going to make it simple for you to be able to do all of the things, the content marketing, being able to do social media marketing by doing Google business profile posts and doing Facebook posts. It's going to make sure that you're updated in all the directories across. I had a customer yesterday compare us right next to Surefire Local, I think is what it was, and I got to see our platform side by side with that one. And some of my biggest takeaways is we do 90% of what they do. We don't concentrate on analytics. We don't concentrate on how much money you're making from us. We keep our pricing low, so we don't have to be able to try to sell you every month on the value that we're bringing and why you're paying us so much money. You're going to go in, you're going to do your own marketing, you're going to make it simple. It doesn't matter which plan you're on. We're here to support you every step of the way. If you have questions, our entire platform is built on that feedback. So when I went through that whole platform with him yesterday, Dean, I know I told you a little bit about that. He was like, all right, so you guys do this. Yes, this is how we do it. He goes, wow, that's a lot more simple than what it is over here. I said, I know, I can't believe how complicated that is. It's been a while since I got to see one of our competitors side by side. But it's to where they make you do all of your stuff anyway, but they're going to charge you anywhere between $1,000 and like $3,000 per month. When we're only going to charge you, right now our current pricing is $40 to $160 inside of the platform. So, I mean, you get access to a lot more for a lot less, and it's not because you're going to have a lot less service. It's because you don't have a salesperson in between to be able to say, hey, upsell, hey, I want to be able to get your money. They have to sell their service to you. So be very mindful when you are out doing any kind of, looking for any kind of social media platforms, or if you're looking for any marketing automation platforms, that they have a sales team behind them. They're trying to be able to sell you those products and services. You have a 2 in 5 chance of getting one of us when you make a phone call into us, send a support ticket in, or do any of those pieces. From a business aspect, what would you touch on based on that?
Well, basically, one of the takeaways from yesterday's conversation you had with that member is that basically they're spending way more money, but they're still doing the same work. And it was more complicated. It was harder for them to use it on the competitor's platform than ours was, but they were still putting the same energy into it. So they're still telling their story, which is really important because as a business owner, you want to tell about your products and services yourself. Because when you have a salesperson helping you and putting the information in, I've been there. I've been down that road with before I met Rob. I had another marketing company. They gave me information and they put it out there and they put it out there incorrectly. Now I have this information about my business that wasn't correct.
Hell, my agency did that for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we sucked at it. I heard that all the time. It took just as much energy for us to try to collect the information we needed from a client when I had the agency piece as it did for that customer just to go in and do it themselves. That's why having a platform that is a do-it-yourself, either you or your staff is going to do it, you're going to be able to just log in and do it. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no, that's fine, because the biggest thing is it's really not that hard to do, and you can overcome a lot of obstacles with your rankings when searches happen by making sure that you do all the things you need to do. I used to put out information, and they would take 2 weeks for me to get the photos from me and the content, and then it took them another week, and then it was wrong. Now I just spent 3 weeks. I've lost all that energy, and so with our platform, you get to see it immediately. You see it, you put it out there, and it's really simple to use. I mean, there's cropping tools for photos that we have right on our platform. You don't have to have any special art skills. You can type in, all the information in yourself. You can preview what it's going to look like on your profiles. It's awesome. It's so much easier, and it's really straightforward. I mean, it's just a much better way of doing it than waiting for 2 to 3 weeks to get stuff out there, and then, like I said, you're missing out on all that opportunity because everybody else is out there putting out more content than you are faster, and that hurts you when you on your rankings on searches. So
it does. It majorly hurts you when you're doing that side. It's one of those things to where being able to go through and use the platform, like right now I've got posts behind us. This is how simple it is to come in and write a post. You add a photo to it if you want to. You write your post out right in here, and then you pick a call to action like call now, and you can click schedule, or you can publish it right now. You can go out to Facebook, or you can go out to just Google business profile. So it's one of those things to where that brings me to my next topic I want to talk about real quick, Dean, is the fact that yes, you don't need an agency to do this, but what if you have an agency doing your website right now and they're currently saying they're doing SEO for you? What does that mean? Now, from a technical standpoint, to me, it means that they're doing the SEO, they're doing traditional SEO, so they're doing the blog writing, and they're making sure the markup on the website is correctly. I think the new study was 74% of agencies are not doing the local SEO piece. as a standard piece. Some of them are upselling that over, but it's like over 70%, which is crazy. So from a business aspect, if I could talk today, what would you say to that?
So I have a real basic website for my business currently, and I don't really try to draw. I mean, people know my business has been around for over 50 years, so I have a different kind of clientele than somebody that's just been out there for 6 months. The thing with it is, though, is the website is going to provide certain information, and they're going to talk about all the keywords, all these things. I'm finding that when a search is happening, when people have an immediate need, the website gives them additional information. It's not necessarily the piece that they're going to draw to you. They know your name. They're going to find your website, and they're going to go right to you. But the problem is I don't know how often the information is being updated. I don't get a chance. I can see the blogs on my pages and things like that by other agencies. The thing is are they really doing all the aspects that they're talking about? They're talking about backlinks, all these. As a small business owner, I have no idea what backlinks are. I trust that they're doing the right things, but I know that there's value to it. I just don't know what they're really doing for me on the website, on the local SEO side, where when I see this on our platform, I know it's going out there and that information is being put out there to the networks that we were showing you earlier that make a difference on a voice search, a type search, or any kind of a Bing or whatever. It's gonna help you get there easier, and it's gonna find you better.
It is, and we work with any website out there. So if you currently have someone hired and they are an agency and they are working on your website and they're doing traditional SEO, even if they're hitting some of the local SEO pieces for the schema, which is a type of coding that happens around content and tells the search engines what it is. That's how a lot of this AI technology is happening right now. But if you have that on your website and you have someone that you're paying for it, then great. It's one of those things to where we can work with them, we can work hand in hand to make sure that our platform and them work together. If you did your own website that was built with GoDaddy or was built with Wix or it was built with Squarespace, no matter what it was built on, you can work with our platform and we can tie into making sure that it's a good relationship with your website and us. If you think that we're going to clash in any way, you have any concerns, let us know and we'll help you. Our support team is here to be able to support you every step of the way, and that's a huge piece, I think, for most of our members because we know the technical side. Now, if you don't have a website and you need a website, we do offer that as an add-on. We really don't advertise it, but you can get a website through us. Just contact us and say, hey, what would you charge for this? My thought on websites at this point in 2023, as we get ready to approach almost 2024, is the fact that most businesses, they have a business card for a website. It's 5 pages, it's really quick. Unless you're selling products and services on your website, it's not one of those things to where you're going to see it. Now, the other piece is our platform works without a website. It doesn't require a website to be able to get any results from it. We're injecting this information directly into the search engine. We're not waiting around for most of the search engines to pick up on the data and do it. Some of that data we are, like if we're talking voice search, I know the hot term right now is voice search registration or Google voice registration, but it's one of those things to where you're not really waiting for it. When you put a post out, it's going to happen when you say it's going to happen. It's going to go out there, that information hits. You're not waiting on Google to have its bot come through and scan it, which is absolutely huge. The other piece that has been brought up in the last month, I would say, Dean, that has been huge is what each of our features are inside of the platform, why we created them, and what the reason is behind them. So when you come into our homepage, my first thought to it is you have a local SEO score. That local SEO score is not necessarily here's how you're ranking out there. We replaced our reports with this because this is how our data's thinking you are doing to optimize your data the best it possibly can so that way you are being found on search. It's not really saying, hey, yep, you're at 80%, you're done, have a great day. You made it to 100%, congratulations. This is a fluctuating number. And keep in mind, our algorithm from a technical standpoint is constantly changing, and as Google does updates or Bing does updates or Apple, no matter, and Apple's doing a ton of updates with their new iOS and the Maps piece and how they're going to get rid of Yelp to do reviews and what I'm starting to see inside of that whole infrastructure. But it's one of those things to where that 80% is telling me that I'm doing 80% of what I could be to be able to get the best results. Now, sometimes you're never going to be at 100%. So just know that at the very beginning and going out there that having this score right here is a good benchmark. So instead of giving you a report about data that I think is bullshit from 90% of the networks that we receive back and does not add up in numbers and all that, instead of giving you that and trying to get you to base it off of that data, this gives you a good starting point to know this is where I'm at and how I'm done at. Well, from your aspect, what do you think of the local SEO score?
Well, basically, excuse me. The biggest thing is that the local SEO score is telling me, gives me a warm fuzzy about where my business is at. The to-do list that's behind me is really our marketing strategy for you. Basically, when we get that filled out and everything gets done, your score is going to go up because our algorithm is actually trying to tell you these are things you need to do. Thank you very much. There we go. Thank you, Rob. And but it's basically, when do I do it? How do I do it? We don't expect you to become a marketing expert. We expect you to run your business. That's why we do the to-do list for you. And the local SEO score, when you get reviews and you respond to them, your score goes up. When you put out a post, your score goes up. If you don't put a post out for a few days, the score goes back down if you don't get reviews. So it's based on the activity that you're doing on the platform, as well as it's going out there and with our algorithm looking at all the aspects that go with your local SEO score, basically. So that's really the bottom line. I don't think I've ever had 100%. I know that we've got a couple of members that have 100%. I don't know how they got there because I've seen it.
I've seen it. I got mine there for a little bit, but I was also messing with the algorithm at the same time.
Right. So. And so it's fun to see that nice green 100% on there, but most people don't get there. And a lot of our members are all concerned about, how come I can't get above 80%? Well, because maybe you haven't had reviews, you haven't done questions and answers. Your service area may need an adjustment. There's the whole thing, it's the whole picture that gets you there. But if you're at 40%, well, you got some work to do. So that's really what that's for, is to make sure that you're aware that you're scoring well enough that you're above average, you're ahead of the competition. And that gets you on that ranking. The whole point is to get yourself ranked on that search when that happens on a mobile device or a voice search device, whatever it is, or even on your laptop or tablet, whatever the device is. You want to make sure when that search happens, and they say, I like to call it the near me phenomena, because a lot of people say find the best in this town or find near me. That's when you want to make sure that your SEO score is up there, because that's going to give you a higher opportunity when the algorithm goes out and matches you to that potential customer for your business that's looking for it. And because when that happens, and what people don't understand is when that happens, I believe the number is like 76% of all the customers when that search happens actually goes to that store that day or calls that store or business. And you don't realize that it's when you do mailings and everything, it's all timing. And with this, it's timing based on the customer needing it, and you're there. When you're doing mailings and things of that nature, which still are effective for a lot of businesses, it's when that lands in front of them, they have a need for it, then you're going to get a reaction. Ours is more, it's there all the time, and that's what that local SEO score is for, is to make sure that you're there when that search happens.
It optimizes your appearance to be there, and I agree with that 100%. The next part you're going to see when you log into the platform for the very first time is you're going to see that every time actually, you're going to see your to-do list. Your to-do list is a way for you to be able to do actions and say, hey, this is what you need. Hey, you got new reviews, you need to go out and you need to leave a reply. You can do that directly from the platform. You can do it right from the to-do list. Like right here, it says, do you want to schedule a post? That reminds you what you need to do. That's our algorithm. It's looking at what your local environment is and making decisions on what you need to do next to be able to take that next step to be able to do it. Now, you should be able to knock your to-do list out in about 5 to 10 minutes per day is what the average member is spending right now. So you can go in, you can knock out your posts, you can knock out your reviews, and make sure that you're doing everything you need very simply. One question that came down to the to-do list, and this was a question that happened about a month ago, was the fact that, hey, do you guys have a good mobile app to be able to do this? No, we're working on building a mobile app. We're trying to figure out what tools need to go into the mobile app. So if you have any feedback on the mobile side, definitely let us know. But that to-do list is a way for you to be able to simply know what that next step is. So you're not logging in the platform going, oh, what the hell do I do now? It eases you in, gets you using the platform. Do you have anything to add to the to-do list?
Basically, that's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit, that it's your marketing plan. You don't have to be a marketing expert. We're going to let our algorithm tell you when things need to happen. And it doesn't mean you just have to do it once. That's when Rob was showing that scheduling out, there's days that I'm slow in my business. I go, oh, I can do 5 posts and have them scheduled out to go out. And when that happens, then your to-do list is seeing that you've put them out there. It's not going to pop up on you every time because you've scheduled these things out. But if you haven't scheduled anything or done anything for 3 to 5 days, you're going to get that notice that says, hey, you need to put a post out there. And I find posts are probably one of the most important pieces because you can give information, you can have call to actions, you can have them go to your website. It's really a really important piece. Plus, you put that photo on there, it gives that ability. I mean, people, I like photographs. I mean, when I go find a book, back in the day when I used to look at albums, when you look for it, you always look for the better picture. So the photos are giving you that opportunity to give you familiarity, get their get their attention or whatever is be the better word for it, and then they would read the rest of it. And that's really important. And that's why I think posts are one of the most critical pieces for the whole platform.
Yep, and we'll dive into posts here, and we'll dive into that piece next. I want to finish the homepage real quick, and that you're good. Post, I agree. It's a huge part of our platform. The next piece is I get a lot of questions of what do these green dots mean? This means that we have taken that information, we've submitted it out. If you're on our base plan, you're not going to be submitted out to a lot of the networks. Versus if you're in the middle package or over, you're going to get all of the networks. How the networks work, and I'll do a separate video and I'll link to it above, is how to be able to break each of those pieces down and how the networks tie together and the best way to be able to register and have yourself found across them. A lot of our competition does things and they say things like, hey, we'll get you on 70 networks or we'll get you on 50 plus networks. What that is that's a sales ploy. A lot of those, like if we compare Yext, we compare SignUp, or we do Advice Local, which is 3 of the big top dogs out there for being able to do local directories, and also Bright Local. If we compare ourselves to them, what they're doing is they own, and for one, they're all connected. They all use each other in some aspect, in my opinion. But what happens is a lot of those networks, A, they don't matter. B, they used to matter, but now they don't have as much value, in my opinion. The third thing I would say with those networks is they own some of them. So they're sending that data over, or they paid a relationship. For example, we tried going to Yelp and tried to get a relationship to be able to send information over. What I learned is like probably 80% of our customers can't stand Yelp. They use it maybe for a little bit, but they can't stand them because all they do is constantly try to sell them something. So, but we tried to be able to get a relationship to send them information, and they basically said, oh, that's going to cost you $1 million in licensing or some god-awful number. And it was like, well, we're a small business. We can't afford that. So we're not going to do that. So we figured out ways to be able to go around that and to where it naturally, where you organically start showing up. And now that we're on our 3rd year, almost our 4th year, I'm starting to see how organically you start to build up on all the networks that they talk about, because everyone goes back to the basics. They go back to pulling you from Google, Bing, Apple Maps, and Facebook. They're all tied together, and that whole entire web kind of keeps going out. So if you see the green check mark, that means we've submitted the data to them. It does not guarantee that your information is being found on those devices today, but it means that we have submitted that data and made it fresh, and there's not a connection problem that you need. Sometimes you'll get an email from us asking for things like a business license or any kind of documentation, a utility bill, and that's because one of those third parties asked for it. Now, an important piece as you're evaluating, if you're evaluating other platforms out there for marketing platforms, is ask them, if you create a profile for me, are you doing that and creating it to where I will have ownership of it? If we create you a Google account, a Facebook account, if we do one on Apple Maps, we're creating that account on your behalf and we give you owner access to it. A lot of these other marketing platforms, they take it, and if you cancel with them, you don't control that network anymore. I fight that fight all the time for our members to be able to make sure they're being found and make sure that they can get those profiles back, because I think it's just flat out wrong for anybody to hold those hostage. There's also networks, when they send out to these 70 plus networks, they kill your listing the minute you cancel. We don't do that. You have all the rights to it. The only thing when you cancel with us, which by the way, we're month to month, unless you pay for one of our yearly plans, it's a monthly fee. We want to earn your business every month. We don't want to hold you hostage to anything. We want you to get in, use the platform for what you want to use it for. When it comes to the networks, anything you want to add to that?
Oh, sure. Let me throw this in real quick. Because I'm a small business owner, been doing it for years, and they know some of the other business people came out to me and said, "Hey, Dean, I need to do that thing you do because I'm hurting for business right now." The problem is you have to understand that the networks don't grab everything right away. It's not an instantaneous. It takes some time to build up that information. That thing we do is great, but it doesn't happen right this second. I mean, it takes a little bit of time. So
my argument on that, though, is we've had members report if they already had their Google business profile set up, they're getting results in about a week to about 14 days.
True.
So at the very beginning, that was very big in there. But when we're hearing reports back, I don't have any like hardcore data to say here's a case study on this. But I'm hearing back, hey, I've seen an increase of these small amounts, and it starts to build over time. Do I think our marketing platform is a way for you to save your business if it's absolutely hurting? I mean, I guess it's worth a shot if you're there, but if you have to do it in a week, it's probably not where it is. If you have to close a lot of business in the next 30 days, it probably isn't going to be fit for you. But it also goes into the whole entire seasonal businesses as well. Don't cancel it during your downtime. Make sure you're keeping it on all the time so that way you're at least feeding over. At least keep it on the base plan to be able to keep it active and keep it going through. Yeah. So that way you don't lose any of that.
Yeah, it's good. That's a good point.
But that's going to be my argument on that side.
You're right. But if you haven't been out there and you aren't putting some things out there to some of the networks, it takes time for that to filter through.
It does.
So if you're not being found on Apple Maps right this second, it may not happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen instant.
Right.
Especially with all their iOS changes as iOS 17 starts to come out. I'm actually an iOS 17 developer beta tester, and there's all kinds of cool stuff getting ready to happen with Apple. And that's why my prediction is they're going to get rid of Yelp as being how they're pulling reviews and Facebook and not tying in. They're going to start doing it on their own. And I think it's because they're tired of some of the BS that's out there, but that's just my prediction.
Right. I agree with you. And we were talking about the green dots. Remember that on Facebook, if you don't have a Facebook account, it's going to show up as a black dot. It doesn't say you have to go out and get a Facebook account, but if you do get a Facebook account set up for your business, it's just going to help you.
Yep.
And, so all these networks, they kind of talk to each other. They what I want to say, they glean information from each other. They gather it. I don't like the word crawlers.
They crawl it. I mean,
yeah.
They have a bot. They have a little tiny bot that's set up inside of a script. And what that bot does is it goes out and it crawls that website. And what it's doing is it's scraping all of that data and pulling it in. So if we look at all this AI stuff that's happening right now, like ChatGPT, Bard, or any of the AI technology, what has done is it goes to all these websites, it scrapes the information.
It's not just the website though; it's the business information.
It's business. It's all everything.
Because because you don't
it's
have to have
online.
Right. There's some website aspects to it, but it isn't dependent on the website to make this happen, though.
Correct.
So that's the biggest thing that a lot of people are going to tell you. If you don't have a website, you're not going to get found. You still get found. It just may be a little different process.
Correct.
So.
And that's 100% it. And as we drive and we go into the post piece, Post is a way, like I said, for you to inject that information. This is a test account we're on, by the way. So you might see some stuff that's kind of weird in here. But when you're going to do it, you can create a post. You can have this post go out to Facebook, and you can have it go out to Google Business Profile. This fills your whole entire pillar that we talk about a lot. It fills your content piece. So it's ability to use photos and also your content at the same time. All you have to do is just upload your photo. If you want to put a photo, write a short little post, some kind of summary of what you want to talk about. A lot of people talk about deals they have coming on or things they do or their products and services. Just talk about your business. And the average person should be doing this about 3 to 5 times a week inside of the algorithm. It depends on how competitive a market you're in. I mean, if you're in LA and you do a very competitive high-end market, you're going to have to do a lot more posts to be able to keep up with that. You can do a call to action button like I talked about. You can do it as a book now. You can do it online. You can have a call, whatever action you want them to take. You can also include your links. I also think inside of your post, talk about different locations. Don't do a location dump of all the locations you do everything with, but talk about the areas you serve. This helps give those keywords. Remember, you're telling the search engine, no matter if you're talking Facebook or Google or any of the networks that pull that data off. That was a good comment for that, because all those networks are pulling data off of these places, especially if you're business information. It tells it what you do. So that way when someone does a search, you're going to be have a higher chance of being pulled up in the top 3 slots, because that search engine knows who you are, they know what you're about, and they know what you sell, and that you're an expert in there. So inside of your pillar system, you have content, you have trust, and then you also have authority. So you have your content, you have authority, and you have trust. So your content piece, that's where you're building it up. You give yourself authority as being an expert in that market or the best solution for them. And then the trust piece is how you build the trust. That's how you get up and ranked in there. So our platform walks you through that. When it comes to posts, you have that control to be able to do it. Anything you want to add quickly on the posts and Sherry kind of talked about it?
The other thing too is when Rob said the call to action, you can put that on there. One of the things is if the search actually happens on a mobile device, your cell phone, you hit the call button, it dials your number directly from the phone. Mm-hmm. It does, where if you're on your laptop or something of that nature, it's not going to go to call. But if you're on, but so many people use that mobile device because it's easy, it's convenient, and if you pop up on that, then it says call, boom, and they're talking to you right then. Right. So that's a key piece on that.
And another piece I'm going to touch on that. A lot of our competition loves to use tracking numbers. We don't use tracking numbers at all. What happens is that tracking number then gets put out there over and over and over again, and it starts to look as your main number. What they love about that is it's for them to be able to sell you on their services, and look what we did for you. Even though it's a person that just found you because they knew your name and they really didn't do anything, they get credit for that, and they can sell you the value of why they're charging you whatever fee they're charging you every month. So keep that in mind when you're doing call tracking. I tell everybody, don't do call tracking. Because what I've seen happen is someone does call tracking and they cancel and they go sell it to your competitor. I've bought those before, and I think the competitors, this number's no longer theirs, but it's mine. I can offer you that service.
So one of the things that happened to me on a call tracking, and I had it, is my customers knew that was my number. I canceled that service, and they thought I went out of business because now all of a sudden they can't get a hold of me.
Right.
And I had people call up later. They went and looked me up. They go, "Well, I thought you went out of business because the number we called says it's been disconnected." It was disconnected, but it was a call tracking number. It wasn't my number, so don't get caught in that. Don't. Because it will hurt you in the long haul if you don't stay with. I'm not saying that if you stay with the company forever, it's good. But if you decide that they're not the good fit for you, it will hurt you. Trust me.
It will. Photos, I'm not going to touch on that much. I mean, photos are basically a photo. You can upload it in. It goes into your Google profile. Everybody knows what a photo is. All you have to do is just click upload, add your photo, and give it a title. It's really simple. It's a way for you to be able to engage with people directly on your profile. So I don't really want to dive into it because it's pretty straightforward.
Can I inject just a little
bit
on the title?
Yeah.
So when I'm doing photos for my business, I say that I'm doing this product And I actually, in the title, I put the name of where the product happened. There's no proof that it works. It's just my theory that it helps, because there's a little information in the background of that photo that I think that gets picked up. So
there is some data points there, so make sure you do put that title in. From the algorithm, it does look at that. We also don't strip any of your data off of your photo, so if you took it at a location that, say it was in Greeley, Colorado, where you took that photo, it's going to leave that data in. That's also going to be inside of the actual photo itself. When it gets uploaded, we keep all that data onto it. Now, I know there's some platforms out there that let you change it. I personally didn't see any difference in that in my past, so we wanted to make it very easy and simple to be able to keep it to where a small business owner would understand it.
exactly.
Events. This is if you're running an event. A lot of customers ask, or a lot of members ask me, what kind of events do you run? Well, you could be running a sales event. You could be running some kind of customer appreciation. It's anything you have going. This information gets posted out on event pages and is a really good way to be able to advertise what you have going on, especially if you have a customer appreciation happening or you have a tent sale of some kind. But events, all you have to do is come in, say, I'm creating an event. It's kind of like doing a post. You can put your event date and the date it ends. Again, you can do a cool call to action. You can have that go out to Google. You can have to go out to Facebook, and then it feeds out from there.
Now, one of our members, or one group of members, is our churches and religious organizations. They use it to promote their summer programs.
The churches use us all the time.
Yeah, you know, they really use it to promote their whatever's going on, because there's always something going on at the church.
The doctor's office uses it a ton.
Yes, they do.
The other people that use it a ton is your car lots. They use it. I'm trying to think of the other industry that uses it. I'm totally just drawing a blank.
We have a lot of restaurants when they have a band or something like that. They have live music. They use it because they promote, because you'll get that group that follows that band or that group, and then all of a sudden it helps their business. Or somebody else.
I was talking to someone that signed up the other day that's a band, and they're actually using it to be able to promote themselves, and they're promoting which bar they're going to be at or which venue they're going to be at to be able to promote it. The other piece that used it a lot was the doctor's office and also the cities.
Right.
Cities and counties, we have a couple of them inside of our platform right now. They use the heck out of it because they can talk about all the different events they have coming up. We have a library district that uses it. Chamber of Commerce can also use that to be able to advertise all their stuff and things going on in the community. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen at events. The common business owner is going to have very few. Depends on your business type, because if you open the right business category, you have an absolute ton.
Right, like the breweries, they advertise what food trucks are going to be in front of their place.
Yep.
And then the food trucks advertise that they're going to be in front of this brewery. So they're kind of a symbiotic relationship. They help each other by what they're doing with their events. We're here, they're here, kind of thing.
Correct.
So it's a big deal to make sure you put that out there.
Offers and coupons. Offers and coupons is a way for you to be able to show those offers that you have or offer coupons out to your customer. It's pretty straightforward. It's how they can find you. They can use that coupon. It's a way for another avenue for you to be able to advertise those coupons that you have. Keep them fresh. Keep them up to date. Anything you want to add to offers and coupons?
Well, the one nursery that we have, they like, they do mailings, but they also put it out there on their posts on their Google profile.
The home service guys doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we keep mentioning all these industries. Basically, what we're trying to tell you is it works for anybody. If you're a nonprofit, if you're for profit, if you're whatever your business is, our platform will work for you, and it's effective. It just depends on how you want to get your story told out there. And again, it's how you tell your story or promote your business.
Yep. Questions and answers. Anybody can go to Google, onto your Google business profile, and they can ask a question. We're going to monitor to see if somebody did it. Now, if you don't answer that question, even if you do answer the question, but say you don't and somebody else answers it for you, it shows up. There's no approval process. It just shows up. Now, if you answer it as a business owner, it is supposed to, by Google standards, to be at the very top. I've seen it not happen with some of their updates, but yours is at the very top. So you got to make sure you're answering those questions. But questions and answers is a great way for you to be able to take your business and be able to inject a ton of information. Take all the common questions you've done. I think every business should have anywhere between 30 and 50, if not more, questions and good answers. And don't answer the same thing over and over and over again. Make sure you are putting in a good thought process to what that answer is and thinking about all the different keywords. So back in the day, Dean's probably going to touch on this as well. We used to use what was called meta keywords, and you'd keyword dump on your website. We'd put it in the back end of the code. Search engines would pull it up. I did this a lot to manipulate back in the 90s with a search engine called Lycos and Alta Vista. We played this game all day long with those two. So it's one of those things to where you have to be able to get those keywords naturally, have a conversation. Don't dump to dump, but make sure you're naturally answering them and building a conversation with your end customers by using questions and answers. It's a great way to be able to rank your business by using that local SEO of the questions and answers.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just laughing because we had one company that there was a question answered asked on there, and they didn't respond to it. And there was some ridiculous answers, and it hurt them because they didn't pay attention to it, and it got to be. I saw like 5 or 6 answers, and all of them were ridiculous. And it made it sound like they're not a legitimate business, and that hurts you. That's why you stay on top of that and talk about it. The other thing too is in the questions and answers, I actually inject my service area responses in there as well.
You do. You want to gradually put those in.
Yeah, you don't
want to do all of your cities inside of there, but you want to make sure that you're talking about those. It's kind of like in post. Make sure you're doing the same thing.
Exactly, because when that search engine algorithm goes out there and they say find near me, you may be close. I mean, depending on where you're at, and it's all based on location of where the search happens. And so the more you talk about where you're at with your business, the better it's going to help you when that search happens.
Most definitely.
So
our review piece. Reviews are the lifeblood for any small business or any local business. You want to be able to get your reviews out there and be able to get as much more reviews in as you can. So I'm going to start with talking about our monitoring service. Our monitoring service will go out and monitor what's being said on Google. It'll also, if you're on our premium plan, you'll be able to monitor 50 plus networks of what's being said. Not all networks are going to let you reply from the platform, but we make it simple to get where you need to go to be able to reply. I think monitoring your reviews and knowing what is said, make sure you're replying to those reviews is extremely important. That's part of that trust factor on the pillars of what local SEO is. If you don't know what those pillars are, make sure you check out the video above, and it'll tell you exactly what those pillars are of local SEO. With that being said, getting reviews for your business, everybody has a different way of doing it. There's a lot of software out there that we compete with. When it comes to this, we like to make it super simple. We follow Google's regulations and everybody else's regulations on what those reviews are. We don't allow gating, which is where if you say X number of stars, you're only going to be shown these networks. What we do is we have it to where you can share a QR code or a website address for them to go to, or you can put it directly right onto your website by using our widgets. But what you can do is share that link, and it's going to pull up a window, and it's going to say, where would you like to leave a review? It's going to send them to the right place to leave the review. Where a lot of the competition out there drops, in my opinion, is they think about possibly how simple it is for the business owner to send those requests out, but they don't think about the end user and what their experience is and where they're going to drop off on leaving that review. So not only are we going to touch on making it simple for you to generate more reviews about your business, but we're also going to make it simple for your customers to be able to leave those reviews as well. Dean, what would you add on to the review?
I just when you said our highest plan has the review monitoring. Mm-hmm. We had a lawyer that got some reviews, and in the middle plan, and basically the middle plan allows you to look at certain platforms, but not all the platforms we get stuff from. They got a couple of really nasty reviews. They didn't know they had it. They didn't monitor it.
Lawyers always get them because of the other person on the other end always is upset.
Right, and then because no matter what.
They have a target on their back.
Yeah, exactly. But it was really interesting because that really bothered him. So he went to our next level so that he got notified. He couldn't respond to it from our platform, but he got notified.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing is you at least get notified that, hey, you've got new reviews, and you go look at it and you go, oh, I better log into it because those are specifically to some of the industries that are out there. Not everybody has the same review monitoring kind of things, but
our restaurants load the 50 plus areas because we touch a lot on the restaurants.
Right.
We touch a lot of the travel industry, so any of our hotels, any of those types of things, those definitely have it in there.
Exactly, and again, you can't respond to all of them,
Right.
but at least you know that you've been notified because you don't monitor all the networks with your phone or you don't look at it every day because we're busy enough the way it is. We don't have time to look at all of it, but you don't want something to sneak through and bite you because somebody left a really bad review on a different platform than what you normally monitor.
Definitely. And I think that's all really good stuff. Our leads piece, I know that some businesses absolutely love our leads. It's a way for you to have a contact form directly inside of your website or for you to do this internally, but you can put your leads inside to where it goes directly to the platform. You can then put them inside of a bucket and move them around based on what formula they are. I'll link above to a whole entire thing on leads. If you already have a lead system, you're already using a CRM, you're not going to like ours. 9 times out of 10, unless you're looking for something pretty darn basic. We did it for the guy who has his big, huge, he has a service business. He works from his truck, and he's currently relying on his passenger seat to keep all of his leads in one spot. It helps that person be able to stay organized, and it gives a basic tool to be able to run through that. Dean, would you add anything to leads?
Basically, in the leads piece, when you get something that comes from your platform or your website or whatever, wherever you're getting your leads from, when you have an action to it, it records what the action was. And again, like Rob said, there's buckets, so you can say, okay, I need to call this person back. This one needs an email. This one, so you can put them there. But when somebody does an action to it, it actually keeps a record for you of what happened. So at least you can say, oh, my salesperson made the phone call back. I don't have to follow up on that. If you're a one-person game, then of course you'll know where you're at, but at least you know you can leave a record for yourself saying, I called them on this date or I emailed them, so that they're not going, well, you never got back to me. Yeah, we did, but so that like I said though, it's not a real complicated leads, but it will work for the people who need it. But
it will.
It
makes it very simple.
Right.
If you're looking at doing text messaging and doing all this fancy stuff, it's not going to be what you want.
Exactly.
Business information is all the information you provide over to our business or about your business. That's where you send your logo, your description, your address, your social media links. This is not how you connect your social media links, but this is how you share your social media links to us so we can notify the platforms of, hey, I have these channels. Along with your reviews, choosing your categories, and all the attributes about your business. This is all the information we collect. This is at the very beginning. If you want to learn more about doing business information, check out the video above. I'll dive into what each of these does and what it does in the algorithm.
One of the things on the categories is if you change what your number 2 category is, you can move it down and it'll be updated that within 24 hours.
Yep, we update all this information once every 24 hours. It happens between 11 and 12. Every night is when we send that information. A lot of the networks, if we send it multiple times, you're going to end up getting deranked because it looks like spam. So if you're making changes, it gives you that flexibility to make those changes, but not necessarily live. Business hours is all live. You can also put in your special hours for any holidays you have coming up, sales events you have coming up. You can put that information in. So that's what special hours is down here. Like I know we have Labor Day getting ready to happen in a couple of days. We need to make sure all of our members are putting in their Labor Day hours and being able to make sure that if they're closed, if they're open, if it's a reduced amount of hours. You can also split your hours if you're like a chiropractor and you take off for lunch every day. Law offices do the same thing. You can split those hours so that way they know exactly what those hours are and it automatically is updated on there. Now you can also share this information with a widget and put it on your website. So if you change it here, it changes over there as well. So there's a lot of cool stuff.
Exactly. The other thing too is on the special hours, like I'll sit down and I'll do the whole year for my special hours. So I don't have to remember that, Labor Day's coming up this Thursday or Wednesday. I forgot to do that because you get busy. And so that's what's so nice about that. And you always change it, but if you want to go through and pick out your major holidays or times off that you always have for your company or your business, you can put that in there, and it'll be there right away for you.
It will be. Now, I'm going to show you service area next. I'm having an error with it. Like I said, we're on a special account that I did for this webinar. Apparently, I thought I checked all the links. I did not check the links, so I can't show it behind me. What it is, it's going to be a map, and it's going to allow you to be able to say what your service area is. You can do that by city, state, zip, or county. You can also do it by country. Country has no value whatsoever, hardly ever on it. What I recommend for most businesses, doing city or doing zip code to get the most coverage. It'll show you exactly on the map what you're being covered by. Sorry. I think this is one of the big tools that, and this is going to be a longer conversation than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things to where you can bring that service area and you can make sure that your business is being found. It allows you to be able to go away from your home zip code. If you're a home service or home-based business, it also allows you to be able to tell the search engines, this is where I serve. Service area is absolutely huge for that area. Anything you'd add to that?
Absolutely, and I remember too that when searches happen, they're usually in a local area. So I think doing the whole country, if you want to try to get everything out there nationally, it's not going to be a good fit for you in the service area for that. But when you're especially targeted to a specific area that's within 25 to 100 miles, you can really cover that pretty well.
You can.
And so when that search happens, it's going to say, oh, the service area for your business is here. So when that search happens within those service areas, that's going to help you.
Remember, at the very end of the day, Simply Be Found is here to be able to help you be able to be found locally. We're going to take your local SEO to the next level. You can do your own marketing. You can do your own marketing and make it simple for you to be able to take it to that next level and to that next step. If you like getting videos like this and you want to see more in this format, we won't always go this long, but we want to do that for our first one. It's one of those things to where make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you ask us a ton of questions. The more questions you ask allows us to build more features to be able to get things done for you and make our platform even more simple. Again, my name is Rob. I'm one of the co-founders here at Simply Be Found.
And I'm Dean
Yep.
Taylor, and I'm the other co-founder, and we're it. I mean, so if you talk to us and you have a concern, let us know, because that's how we grow.
We don't have any investors that we answer to. We don't have any board that we have to be able to answer to like most of our competitors. We built this software to be able to use for our businesses and also for clients when I had the marketing company, which I don't really do much with anymore. And my focus is 100% here. This is using technology and my methods I've been using all the way back to 1995. I've owned and I've sold many agencies since 2008. So it's one of those things to where I take that knowledge, I put it in, I take the feedback from our members, and we base it on that. Dean tests the platform and constantly goes, I don't understand. And then we have to make it to where he understands. That's where it does. What's really cool about our platform is our average age base is over the age of 40. I'd say 35, 40 right in there. We have a lot of people. I was talking to someone recently that was up in their 80s that was wanting to be able to use the platform, and we did a demo and she absolutely loved it. But I talk to people in their 60s and their 70s all the time that we made it so simple for you guys to be able to do this. And we talk to the younger generations as well, to where they find the use out of it as we make their job more simple. That you don't have to be tech savvy, and it does not take a lot of knowledge compared to a lot of the marketing platforms or the marketing automation systems that are out there. We make it simple. So if you want to be able to keep it simple, but be found by more local customers who are currently searching for the products and services you offer, then check us out at simplybefound.com. And we appreciate all of our members that give the feedback and that are finding the great joys of our platform.
Yeah, and thanks for hanging with us this long.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye now.
I wonder if it actually recorded.